Well, hi friends, welcome back to Ray's Create Cards. If you're new here, I'm Ray Henderson, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Morristown, Tennessee. That's in East Tennessee. I am from originally East Tennessee, and after living elsewhere for a lot of years, I have been back home now for 24 years. So, I miss my mountains. I did. Alright, today's card, because they can be such a challenge, I wanted us to do a male sympathy card, and I wanted to make it easy while also giving it a little bit of a, I don't know, do you want to call it a wow card? Normally our wow cards are for anniversaries, birthdays, and things like that. Sympathy cards can also just really get your attention. So, whatever terminology you want to use to describe it, and this is what we're going to be using today. For my sentiment, I am going to be using the VersaFine pigment ink for fine details, and I'm going to use that because we're going to do heat embossing. Pigment inks don't dry as fast as our Stampin' Up! Dye-based, water-based inks, okay? So that's the reason why I'm going to use that on the sentiment for our card today. The only other ink we're going to use is our Smoky Slate, and we're going to be using Smoky Slate cardstock and basic white. The sentiment that I'm going to use on the outside. Now, as you can tell, I've had this for a hot minute, and I have used and used and used on this set. It comes from, and I don't know if you can read it, I actually did get a diffuser, and I put it on my light, and it kind of helps, but it doesn't eliminate all the glare. But it comes from the Stamps of Life. Stephanie Bernard is the owner of Stamps of Life. And the name of this set is Christian Sympathy 2. Now, right before starting this video, I did go and log in to see if this might still be available. Honestly, I didn't think it would be. I really didn't. It's still available. If you're not a club member, and I'm not a club member, this set will cost you $14.99 before tax and shipping. But I want you to see these sentiments. God calls us home. May it bring you comfort to remember God's promise that love is eternal and in Him we live forever. Very small one here. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Matthew 5:4. I can't tell you how many times I put this on the back of my card rather than like the homemade stamp or something that we might use. I would always put that in case they flip back there, they would see that. You've got a couple little crosses and a heart that you can use. God's love is with you at this difficult time. Sorry. May the thought of your loved one rejoicing in the kingdom of heaven bring you comfort. This is such a wonderful set. And I'm seriously thinking about maybe buying another one. Because thankfully, because of Stampin' Mist and the conditioner that is in that cleaner, it has helped these still stay flexible. They still stamp really well. They cling well. Yeah, they're good quality stamps. But if you're interested in this set, just hop over to stampsoflife.com and do a search for Christian Sympathy 2. I'm not sure what the Christian Sympathy 1 might be. I don't have that one that I know of. But anyway, great sentiment. So, back to the Smoky Slate. We're going to be using basic white and Smoky Slate cardstock. I'm bringing in the Exposed Brick 3D embossing folder. It is carrying over to the new annual catalog. By now, hopefully, a lot of you have got that annual catalog, the new one, in your hands. All of my customers should be getting theirs if they haven't already got them. I made sure to have those sent directly to them from Stampin' Up! During the month of March. However, I'm not sure exactly when Stampin' Up! Is going to mail those out. If it starts to get like toward the very end of April and you still have not gotten yours, reach out to me. And I have got some extra catalogs here, and we'll make sure that you get one. Okay, I'm also going to be bringing in the stylish shape dies, and we're going to only use one die out of here, and it's going to be the third largest stitch circle in this set. and stippled roses. I'm not using the stamp set. I'm only using the dies. I've already, whoops. Yeah, I forgot about that. Some of my little notes here in my alcohol ink coloring. I'm using this die specifically right here, and I've already die cut them out of silver cardstock, and I die cut 3 of them, but isn't that gorgeous? I love that. I love that texture it puts in. Now the Stippled Roses bundle, well, it won't be a bundle for much longer. The stamps and the dies are going to be in the online exclusives, okay? So that's what we got going for that. I don't want to bury this. As I'm standing here talking to you, I am not sure what I'm going to put on the inside of my card, okay? So don't be surprised when push comes to shove and we get to attaching the inside layers. I don't have anything ready to stamp on the inside of mine, okay? So what you're going to need is a card base. Now, you can elect to have the traditional 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4, okay? You can do it either way. Or you can do the 4 1/4 by 11, which I actually prefer, but for today, we'll just go ahead and use a traditional 8.5 by 5.5. For the outside layer, you are going to want a piece of smoky slate that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. On the inside of your card, you are going to want a piece of smoky slate that is 3 3/4 by 5, with a white layer that is 3.5 by 4 3/4. Guys, most of you have heard by now, and of course I've been telling y'all that cardstock prices are going up. That's something Stampin' Up! Cannot help. It is out of their control. So, in an effort to start kind of scaling back, I'm going to start making my inside layers just a little bit smaller. The only exception would be if I know I'm pretty much going to write a book, besides just say a little something and sign off on it, okay? And I think this is one good way to do it. Take your little mat, cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5, and then that means that your white layer, if you want a 1/4 inch border, you're going to cut it down to 3.5 by 4 3/4. And that's going to stretch our cardstock out a little bit more. Some people don't even put layers at all on the inside of their card, but here's the thing, guys. I tend to use the regular basic white a lot. Because I do you see how it can be kind of floppy on its own? So either use the thick basic white if you're not going to be doing layers, or go ahead and put you some layers on there. Put a little bit on the front and a little bit on the inside. It will go a long way. Now, I love anytime anybody wants to give me a card, whether it's homemade or Hallmark, I don't care. They thought enough to give me a card. I think it's amazing and wonderful. But I will tell you, the ones that I have gotten that are floppy, it's kind of like, oh, you know, it's just not something I ever want to do to anyone else, okay? That's just me. That's a personal thing. You do you. Again, that card is still going to be special no matter what. Now, you also will need a scrap of smoky slate to do your die cut with, and a scrap of the silver foil there too. Now, to get started, what we are going to do, and I've already lost it. Let me get my embossing folder here. That brick, exposed brick. I keep wanting to say it's distressed because it does have that little bit of distressed look. Now, I don't want to bring my big machine up here. Let's see. I'm going to bring in my Gina K cut and emboss machine. Not cut and emboss, Intracut. Sorry. Let me get my brands correct here. And we're going to run this through very quickly. I still use my Stampin' Up! Cut and emboss machine. In fact, it got quite a workout this past week. It truly did. I wasn't here last Friday. I apologize for that, guys. But last week, I had so much on me. I had the card ministry class last Friday, and I had to get ready for that. But on top of it, something that had been in the work for a good, probably almost 3 months. Last Saturday, I was meeting with a support group for women who have lost their children. First time to meet them. First time to be involved in something like that. I had to do a lot of forethought, a lot of planning, and a lot of card kit cutting, knowing that these women had probably never made cards. Isn't that pretty? I don't know how well you can see it. Maybe not. I'm having a hard time seeing it. Okay. There was not a dry eye in the house. As the women all went, if they wanted to, they took turns telling their story. The one lady that really stands out to me had lost her husband and 2 sons in 1 year. How do you handle something like that? Only God, right? So, I'm going to quit talking about that because I will start tearing up and crying. I have a daughter who lost a 5-year-old son just a few short years ago. I have a daughter-in-law who had a miscarriage. He would have been 7 years old this month. So, God's timing is always wonderful and always perfect. I feel like I was more blessed than they were. I received really positive, encouraging feedback. They enjoyed making those simple cards because they had never made cards before. I pre-cut everything. I stamped everything. Everything was done. All they had to do was glue them together. They each got to do 4 cards. And it was just amazing. It was truly amazing. All right, I've got this. And I'm going to open up my smoky slate. And I'm going to take my brayer. And that too is available. I love this tool. Now, when you're rolling your brayer, don't just go back and forth. Pretend you're painting. You're going to go into your paint or your, in this case, ink pad. You're going to roll and come up. Or if you go this way, either way, you're going to achieve the same thing. Your roller is not going to look perfectly even with ink. It's okay. Doesn't matter. And you don't even need to put on as much as what I just did trying to show you. And do make sure if these little ends are up, okay? When you order one of these, it's not going to have that on there. My husband put these on there. They are actually little caps for the ends of bolts. And they're on there, baby. They don't want to come off, so I'm not going to try to take it off for you. But it just added that nice little touch. You can go to any hardware store and get those and slide those on there. And we're just going to take this. I'm just going to run this over. Look at that. Can you see it? I had played with this a little bit the other day, and I had used Pebble Path. Now, understand, this is going to die back a little bit. It is going to settle. The moisture will evaporate. The water will evaporate. And so what you see looking fairly dark is going to get lighter. This is what it would look like with Pebble Path. And I liked it. It's got a nice look. But I felt like, all in all, I wanted something just a little softer for this particular layout and this card. All right. Then just take this to your kitchen sink. Just run water over it. You don't have to scrub it. Please don't put soap or anything on it. Just rinse it. If you have hard water like I do, we have well water. Take a lint-free cloth and just, kind of pat it. And then I store mine in a plastic bag. And then when you get ready to sit it down, that's where those feet are so handy because it will keep ink from getting on your surface. For the moment, I'm going to close up my ink, so I won't need that right away. And we're going to go ahead and put this on the front layer. And I'm really, really hoping and praying that this is something that will help you guys out and give you alternatives. You know, sympathy cards are hard enough to do, much less if we're doing them for the guys. You know, we don't want to do a lot of flowers and things. But now, have I got my card base the right way? I do. Just going to go ahead and lay this down. And am I even on both sides? No. Move that over just a hair. Move that over. There we go. I think I'm straight. If it's not perfect, that's okay. It's not Hallmark either. All right, let me put this on here. And let's move this to the side. And at this point, I do want to go ahead and bring in one of my little mini-me's. And get this circle die cut. And we're going to lay that on there. Run that through and have our circle. We're not going to do any kind of stamping on the circle itself. We're not. But it is going to just kind of help give us a focal point on our card. Take this off. Take this out. And if you're new here and you've never seen this, I use the light gray plate instead of the white platform. I don't have to stagger my plates, and it just goes through so much easier. And it still die cuts really well, as you just saw. Now, let me find my die set. Stick that back in there, and I know I am good on that. Okay, move this out of the way. One thing I do want to do with this circle now, I'm not going to emboss it. You could. I mean, I guess we could. But I'm going to take a sponge dauber and just around the edge right there. I don't want to go further than where that's the stitching is around. I just want to give that a little bit of definition. Not doing anything real crazy here, just a little bit. Now, there are two schools of thoughts when it comes to daubers, blending brushes, all that kind of thing. A lot of people preach, oh, don't ever wash them. Don't ever wash them. But I feel like in time, those paints, those dyes, those inks can deteriorate things over time. I mean, we all know that, right? I do wash mine, so if mine look stained or anything, that's fine. I know that all the ink is out of there. I'm good to go back in with another color, and I'm not confined to a certain brush that has a certain color. That's just me. That's just me. All right, at this point, let's get ready and start to kind of figure out how we want ours done. And, you know, I may still go ahead and emboss that. I don't know. This is a perfect opportunity if you wanted to use 2 different embossing folders. You certainly could. And so I'm just going to take my little leaves and I'm going to do what's called a dry fit. I just kind of want to see where I want these to be kind of pleasing to the eye, symmetrical, and something that kind of ensures that your eye is going to be drawn to the middle. Again, you know, you could increase your leaves to 5. You could really fill this in if you wanted to. Absolutely could. And that kind of looks good to me. So I'm going to take and take all of this out. And we are going to start gluing our stuff down. Now, I'm going to lead with my little middle circle, but I'm not going to put the glue all the way to the edge because I want a little bit of room to tuck those stems. And if mine is not quite in the center, it's okay. Yours doesn't have to be either. You could actually lower it or raise it even, and it would be just fine. I'll put a little bit of glue there on the back of that. And I was not particularly concerned whether or not all of my leaves had all those little cutouts out of them. See that one right there? It's not out. I just left it in. I just left it in because whoever gets your card is not going to know any better either. I do want to kind of lift that leaf up to where it's kind of like right there on top. I really didn't want that buried. So there we go. Let me get a block and put on there. May not be a clean block. I have been so busy packing and unpacking for these events this past weekend that I think I'm kind of put back together, but not completely, and I sure didn't have time this week. Because I'm recording this, it's, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? Oh, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, guys. And y'all are going to be seeing this Friday. So, alright, once again, I don't really want my leaves under there. And yes, I'm using the Barely Art glue today because of that fine tip bottle. I still have not addressed the issue. I have got Tombow, but this is not a Gina K bottle, and it is really hard to work with, and Tombow is so much thicker. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is buying another 3-pack of these from Gina K and transferring this Tombow over, because I have a real hard time. It wants to clog up real easy. It just fights me. But I would like to be able to use Tombow as well, because Tombow has its own properties and its own benefits, and I think our card rooms can take having more than one kind of a liquid glue. So, but that's just me. That is just me. So, not very long before starting this video, I had a package delivered. Oops! And I will show you here in a minute what I got. Now look here. It's not Tombow, so it's not sticky. Do you see how easily I got rid of that? You see that? And it's not going to stay sticky. Things are not going to stay stuck to it. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, I'm going to lay that on there. That's almost tucked up underneath, which I guess that's not enough to worry about. Ouch. Man, I just got myself good. Well, where'd my pen go? I dropped it. And I don't see it. Probably because my carpet is dirty and needs to be vacuumed. So, let me grab one of my other little stoppers. We'll put that on there. Now, I know it won't get clogged up. Alright, at this point we're going to lay these to the side. Make sure everything's down, making good contact. I don't want these up being poofy because it will make it that much harder to slide in and out of the envelope. And at this point, I'm going to bring in my Rabbit Hole Designs dusting powder. And I want to pre-treat my cardstock just to make sure. Even though it's clear, I still want to go ahead and treat it. Love this stuff. Best powder ever. They use kaolin clay instead of cornstarch or, you know, whatever these other companies are using. I find it works so much better. I truly do. And I need my VersaFine ink. And I'm a little bit out of the camera, so let me kind of slide this over so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. The VersaFine ink pad is a felt pad. It is not the foam. Oops. Heavens to Betsy. Yep, you know I'm going to be the one to make a mess. I'm probably going to stamp this twice. And then I'm just being very gentle. I don't want to distort the lettering. I don't want to smush it. I have done that more than once. That looks pretty good. It's a little light right there. Either I didn't press correctly or didn't get quite enough ink. Some of it is a little bit more defined than the rest, so one more time. Sync that up. Very gentle. I'm just barely pressing down, guys. I'm not pressing hard at all. Oh, that is so much better. I'm going to lift this up off of my sticky mat. Love that sticky mat. I've got 2 more. You get 3 in a set. But I've got 2 more in case this one ever gives up the ghost. And eventually they do. So now with that looking dull, I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to put the lid on my ink. I hate to re-ink ink pads if I don't have to. And so I don't like my ink pad sitting out exposed. And let's clean off my stamp. And my poor little Misty here. Oh my goodness. Can you tell when you're holding this ink pad? It's not near as deep and thick or as easy to hold as our Stampin' Up! Inks are, but it's good. It's all good. Make sure I have everything off of there, and I think I do. Alright, I'm going to lay this to the side. I'll put my stamp away later. And let's go ahead and corral this before we get out the heat tool. By the way, guys, I am working on my free gifts. Currently, what I am giving as a free gift is a Tombow glue holder, and do I have one sitting here to show you what it looks like. I brought the bag in here the other day. That was the other day. It's been a hot minute. Alright, I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to hold it as far away from the microphone as I can. I'm going to try to pick this up. There we go. I'm going to let that run for just a second. And we're going to hit this. This strip of basic white that I cut is, I don't know, can y'all see that? If I hold it up, maybe you can see how that's changing. The fun never stops. It never gets old. I don't care how many times you do heat embossing. And if you don't do heat embossing, you just don't know what you're missing. You truly don't. There we go. Got it, got it. So it's 3/4 of an inch wide. Now, you're going to adjust your width depending on your sentiment. I cut it at 4 1/8 because my front panel is 4 1/8, but I added 1/16 when I cut it, just to make sure. I don't know about you guys, there are times I have cut things and I thought I cut everything just perfect, and something would be just a teeny tiny bit short. So I did cut it a little bit long, because if it hangs over the edge just a little bit, and of course I'm crooked, hold on, it's not going to matter. It's not going to be noticed. See that? I'm just maybe a 1/16 over here, and maybe not even that on each side, but it's balanced, okay? It is balanced so that that is not going to look odd. It's not going to look off. I'm not going to have to trim it. I'm not using dimensionals. Again, that is another option you have. Again, getting back to the postage, going up, going up. And here's something that I'm learning. They say that if you spend the money for the non-machinable stamps, they will hand process it. Well, let's just say that's what they're supposed to do. Does not mean that's what they do. So, how do you know? Once you've left that at the post office and you have spent that extra money, because it's over $1 now for a non-machinable stamp. It's the Colorado Blue Streak Butterfly. So how do you know? You know, some post offices, maybe their standards are high enough that they aren't, that they really are doing what you paid for them to do, but maybe not. You know, we all understand how quality control in service, customer service, products, everything seems to have gone down except for Stamping Up. Their stamps and everything are still high quality. All right, guys, here we go. So what do you think for an easy peasy male sympathy card? And you could definitely use this for a female too. You might want to change the colors up. Maybe bring in some soft purples or blues or even pinks. Would work well. You might want to substitute gold or copper or platinum, cardstock, you know, whatever you've got. And then, like I said, on the inside, we are going to put our 3 3/4 by 5 matte. Again, remember, because it was floppy, I didn't really want it to be floppy. And we're going to center that the best we can. And that's not the best I can. I don't know why it is I still get nervous on camera, guys, even though I'm sitting here by myself. There's nobody here with me. And I don't have to worry about all that. Got a little bit of cardstock piece hanging there. Okay, so we got that. And then my white is cut down to, let's see, that's 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. There we go. All we did was go down a whole 1/4 of an inch. You could go down an 1/8 of an inch. You do the size that you're comfortable with. But yeah, I still don't know what I want to put on the inside. When you're looking for scripture stamps and things, so off to the side here, I recently ordered, again from Stamps of Life, I ordered this set, and it's called Sorry for Your Loss, and that is the number 4, not the word for. Sorry for Your Loss, and I'm loving these sentiments. I love these. These are so appropriate. In fact, this was the one I used on one of their 4 cards for the women's support group. I also am looking at using For I, the Lord your God, will hold your right hand, saying, Fear not, I will help you. This is Divinity Design. It's called Grace's Strength. Now, when you order from other companies, they don't give you those little stickers. What I usually do is I'll put a dot on the back side so I know which is the top of the stamp. And again, go back to your Stamparatus, your Misty, whatever stamping platform you have. Make sure you've got everything lined up and that it's going to stamp appropriately for you, because it is a little bit more of a challenge to use these stamps since we don't have the stickers. But then in here I also have, it's called Scripture Series 3, and I'm looking real close at this one. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love him. 1 Corinthians 2:9. Isn't that a wonderful thought and a hope and a promise that we can count on, that we can hold on to in the midst of our grief? It doesn't take our grief, but to know that God is with us, it makes it so much easier to bear. It truly does. So I've got quite a few things from Divinity Designs, probably more than any other company. Here is another one that I recently got, and it is a penny black. I may have ordered this from scrapbook.com. I honestly don't remember. Some of these I do not care for, like May the Stars Carry Your Sadness. See, I don't get into that. We're to honor the Creator, not what was created, okay? There's a danger in starting to worship what was created, so don't even go there. I don't care for that one. However, thinking of you and wishing you comfort and peace, heartfelt sympathy, so sorry for your loss. There are no words. Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day. Wish I could be there for you, wrapping you in love at a time when words fall short. It was still very much worth the money to get all of those wonderful sentiments. And, you know, some people would really like that sentiment. You do you, okay? It's just I want to be very careful that I give my Heavenly Father all the credit. Now, I had told you guys I got a delivery, and I'm so touched. And, you know, it does a mama's heart good, right? I may have been the only person on planet Earth that had never heard of this outfit. They have, I think the name of the app is Free Prints. It's a very inexpensive service. They make these 8x8 tiles with any photo you supply. And they give you instructions for how to hang them up. Now, I've already got one that has my son and his girlfriend on the living room wall. I'll be adding this to it. And you guys, I haven't figured out yet how to use one camera and do my face and then be able to tilt it down without it being a big rigmarole, you know, a lot of drama to show you what I'm working on. So, when they were here last October, yeah, it was right before Halloween, they were able to come down, yours truly. So if you want to see kind of what I look like, yeah, I kind of got a little fat, guys. And yeah, I'm kind of working on that right about now. But isn't that wonderful? I mean, this kind of stuff, you can't put a price tag on. I'm so happy. I'm just so in love with my family and my friends. That's where my treasure is. And so having these hanging on the wall, our adult children don't always think about giving us photos of themselves. But as we get older, we know what's really important, right? So, anyway, guys, till we meet again, I'm going out of town Thursday. I won't be back till Sunday. I will do my very best to have a video up for you for next Friday. Don't even know what we're going to be doing yet. So here you can see side by side what it would have looked like if we had used the pebble path. And then here it is with the basic gray. And I just think that's a softer look. This could work on in a different application. But I really liked using that smoky slate on smoky slate for that tone on tone. This is pretty much a monochromatic card. But it is so simply sweet, elegant, and I feel like it just reaches out and says, hey, I care about you, and I'm sorry for your loss. I'm praying for you. I'm here for you. Guys, till we meet again, y'all be blessed, be safe, know you are loved. God is good all the time. Bye.